Family and who you're born with is who you die for.
We're working on new IP. Narrative is sort of a central pillar of our studio. I think you can expect us to, not necessarily be in the same genre. Maybe we will be single player, maybe we won't. But the joy of new IP is it's the kind of shackles are off to a certain extent, and it's far less limiting. We're going to continue with narrative at the core of the studio. We're not going to be jumping on bandwagons. We're not an acronym-led studio, I would say, and certainly, there's some things happening at the moment. Everybody's jumping on Battle Royale and things like that. People are welcome to do that, but that's not really what we're really about. Hangar 13 and the wider 2K is not a company that is led by, focus testing and market testing and things like that. It's led by the kind of creative vision of the developers and the studio heads. So it's going to be a while before we come back and announce anything. But when we do, I think it's going to surprise people in a very positive way.
As a studio, Hangar 13 is all about. Obviously it's story first. That's clearly our mission statement. But also it's about trying new things. It's about trying risky things, trying whatever they may be, whether that's in narrative or in the tech that we're developing or in things like how we're structuring our studios. Just doing things that aren't not just doing them because everyone else is, doing things because we think they seem right, because they're challenging, because they're going to be fulfilling, and that goes across the quality of the game, the story, so the actual way we make the games as well.
There's always pressure because we want to be successful, and when you're developing a new IP, you don't just think about one game, you actually think about, what could this lead to in the future, and being given the option and the mandate to develop a new IP, you could be sitting on something that could become huge, and building that from the ground up is one of the most satisfying things you can do as a developer. And it's not a company that's afraid of taking a risk, we're actually asked to take some creative risks so that we can find some kind of clear blue ocean and not just hop on any old bandwagon or copy something that someone else has done. And the project that we've got right now I think is incredibly unique, but also something that is going to appeal to a hell of a lot of people. Over the last few years you've seen some studios, particularly studios like Naughty Dog, I guess, who's stepped up and really done great narratives, and we hope we're included in that kind of conversation as well. So for me, what I think I'm looking for is, as the technology continues to improve and we make advances in things like AI and things like this, using the things that are unique about games to sort of tell stories in different ways, but to do it in a mature way and to do it in a way that feels integrated into the experience, as opposed to play for a bit, watch a cutscene, play for a bit, watch a cutscene. There's always going to be a little bit of that, but I think there's an opportunity ahead as the technology improves to kind of really do some special storytelling within games that focused on what's unique about games relative to other media.
We play a lot of games, obviously, and we try to learn whatever we can from them. So like recently we were all playing God of War and discussing, hey, they did this, both in terms of the actual narrative, but also the mechanical delivery of that narrative. So like when you're rowing around the Lake of Nine, the way they kind of introduced kind of interstitial stories was really compelling. But the thing I like about our studio is that we also look a lot outside of games for inspiration. Not just on the narrative team, but broadly across the entire studio. So, we're constantly reading books, watch movies, watch TV. Specifically to the narrative department, I think every Monday for the first 2 hours of the day, Ed, who's our lead writer, we spend like 2 hours just dissecting everything that we essentially consumed over the weekend from a story point of view. So it's a wide swath of things. In terms of what I like to see in game story is just stories that are about something. Obviously that was kind of our hallmark now with Mafia III, and I think it'll be a studio hallmark moving forward. And it's just, even if it's a lighthearted, like just what's actually going on, and that just creates a sense that there's more to the world and the story and the characters than what you directly see in that game. Personally, that's what I would like to see in more games.